Vicky Matthews from Pink Spaghetti. We have been going for 7 years now, and we originally set up within Mid Cheshire as a PA service, myself and my business partner Caroline. Since then, in our journey, we have grown, and 3 years ago we franchised the business. So we've now got over 20 franchisees across the country, and that's growing and expanding rapidly. So from my perspective, I juggle running the franchise side of the business with Caroline, and we also run our own franchise area, Mid Cheshire, where we service local customers as well. So it keeps me busy.
I'm sure. How old are your children, Vicky?
My eldest Holly, she's 11, about to go to high school in September, so a bit of a scary time for us. And then I've got Tom, who is 7.
And when did you start Pink Spaghetti? Sorry.
So we started it when basically Holly had just started primary school, and Tom was 1 year old. So I was very limited in terms of time and juggling very much while the business was in its infancy. So Tom went to a couple of sessions of preschool, and he went to my in-laws for 1 day a week. But that essentially was it for the first sort of 18 months. And that worked really well because actually the business was very small, and I could work around, Tom had a 3-hour sleep at lunchtime, which was fantastic. And I could work around that. And when he was at preschool, I could go out and network and meet people. And then as the business has grown, obviously Tom's time in various preschool and then obviously going to school has increased. And so it's sort of matched perfectly, and that's something that we encourage for our franchisees as well, because we offer a very flexible model, so that they can start off when their children are relatively small, and they can do it on a part-time basis. But then as their business grows, hopefully the amount of time they can devote to it grows, and the two can work hand in hand in tandem. And it's worked really well for us, and hopefully for our franchisees as well.
Brilliant. So was it about 8 years ago then that you started?
Yeah, it was about 7 years. Well, we spent about a year planning it. So being Pink Spaghetti, we like to be really organised. And when we had the idea, Caroline and I probably spent about sort of 7-8 months planning and researching absolutely everything we thought we might be asked, getting a proper website, getting graphic design for our logo, all the things that we needed to do. But we also probably planned to the nth degree. And actually, in many ways, although a lot of the things we had to do, we probably should have just gone for it a little bit earlier, because most of the things that we researched in terms of what we'd be asked to do, we actually still haven't been asked, and 7-8 years later. So sometimes I think you can procrastinate a little too long, but we've been going a little while now, but it worked out very well for us in terms of starting when our families were young, and as the business has grown, our children are growing up at the same time. So now Holly wants to take over Pink Spaghetti when she grows up.
I'm sure she does. That's brilliant. So how did you feel? Oh, you did the planning stuff for, obviously you said about a year.
Yeah.
Before the planning stuff, was it something that you consciously made the decision that you wanted to be the parent that was at home having their own business? And did you give up a career before?
So I worked for Alliance Leicester. So when I had Holly, I went back to work 3 days a week and balanced that. And actually, to be honest, that was a nice balance. Although I had to considerably fight to get part-time hours when I had Holly. I had to take a demotion and really fight my cause to get that part-time. However, 3 days a week was great and working well. And then when I was on maternity leave with Tom, we were bought by Santander, and there was a big voluntary redundancy program. So it made sense at that point to sort of cut my losses and decide to take the money and try something new. At the same time, Caroline, my business partner, had been doing a lot of consultancy, which meant going away from home in the week, which again didn't fit with her family and her 2 small young children. So we both at the same time been talking about the idea together for a long time, and decided the time was right to actually say, well, okay, let's have a look at the business idea that we've got and actually do something about it. So one New Year's Eve, over a dinner party on New Year's Eve, we sat down, we said, yeah, this is a great idea. we said, let's go away in January and independently research it. And if we've got the same ideas when we come back, let's go for it. And fortunately, when we came back at the end of January, we had the same ideas. And then Pink Spaghetti was born after that.
Yeah, and it's a huge success. What would you say to somebody who's in that initial stage that has either been made redundant or is not keen on going back to work after maternity? What would you say to somebody who's in that stage? Obviously, it's kind of a, you know, it's a financial worry, it's a family worry, it's all those kind of things. What would you say in kind of your learning in terms of what would you say to somebody at that stage?
I mean, it is a really tough decision because you are giving up a lot. I was fortunate that I obviously had my voluntary redundancy money to keep me going. And I think you have got to very much be honest with yourself, because when you start your own business, whether it's independently or as part of a franchise, you know, you are not going to have that same income coming in day one, month two, whatever it is, because it takes a time to build up a small business. So I think you've got to be realistic with yourself and your finances. And as much as you might want that balance and that, you know, a new venture, a new challenge, whatever it is, you've got to be comfortable that you can afford to do it. And that's really important. That's something we always stress to people when they come to us about a franchise. You know, as much as we give you a business in the box and all the tools and techniques, it's not going to happen overnight. So you've got to be comfortable with that. But saying that, I would never, ever go back to working in corporate life, to being employed. I couldn't ever do it. It's the best decision I ever made. I love the flexibility. I love the fact that I can do the school run every day, that I can go to sports day when I want to. I don't have to ask anybody else. And, you know, my day is my own and my time is my own. And it's the success or the failure of my business is down to myself and Caroline and nobody else really. And that's fantastic. So if you can do it and you think you've got that idea, you've got that tenacity to keep going, that you're not going to be deterred by setbacks, then, you know, give it a go, because it really is worthwhile.
Brilliant. So if somebody was sat there and they're kind of thinking about, so they've got two opportunities. They could go by themselves and do their trade, whether it's PAing or whatever, or join a franchise. What would you say for their considerations to be when choosing those paths?
I mean, obviously, we think franchising is great. And one of the things that I think the franchise, that people come to us when they say, you know, I'm not sure whether to go it alone. I've had this idea that I want to do what you're doing, but I don't know whether to go it alone or to join yourselves or anything else as a franchise. The thing that really appeals to people is the fact that with a franchise, you are getting everything set up for you. You are learning from other people's mistakes, and that you have that support network. And I think that if you are the type of person that can just get on with it by yourself, that you don't need that support, and that you want that challenge, but you're prepared for it to possibly take longer to get your business going, then, you know, go it alone if you've got that fantastic idea. However, I know that Caroline and I both said that we would never have done it independently. We had each other, and that's been great to bounce sort of ideas off, to talk things through. You know, in the early days, if someone was having a low day, the other one probably wasn't, and you know, you keep yourself going. And that's what we're there for franchisees. And so I think that the franchise route does give people a lot of that support and confidence, but also means that they don't make the same mistakes that, you know, we made them in our early days. And that's what franchisees don't, you know, they won't make those mistakes. And so they do hit the ground running a lot quicker.
Brilliant. It is really important. I mean, what we're talking about in some of the meetings with ParentPreneur is that parents are buddying up with other parents, and they report into them on a weekly basis. So people, obviously, if there isn't a franchise scheme there for what they're doing, or whatever, they've got their own little business, and it's nice to kind of have somebody like you've got Caroline to buddy up with and report into, because it can be quite isolating. You've only got yourself to answer to. When you've got someone's around, it's kind of, you've got the pressures from both sides then, haven't you?
Absolutely.
So you started the business, and obviously it took off. Did you get your first franchise quite quickly, or was that?
No, we were really lucky actually. Our first franchisee was somebody called Andrea. She's down in Hampshire, and she'd actually been stalking us. So she'd had the idea that she wanted to do what we were doing. She had signed up to our newsletter, was following us on social media, and actually even the weekend before had been on a girly weekend, and said to her friends, you know, this is Pink Spaghetti, this is what type of thing I want to do. And then we happened to send out a newsletter, put out on social media that we were offering franchises. And she just thought, you know, I've been procrastinating for 2 years. I'm not going to do it by myself. This is the perfect opportunity. And she contacted us and said yes within days. So we were really, really lucky that it worked out so well for us. And then we had the, oh my God, well, we've got to get everything ready for her now, because we didn't quite anticipate it was going to happen quite so easily. And Andrew's still with us, which is fantastic. So she's a testimony to the fact that it worked for her.
Brilliant. So how many franchises have you got now, Vicky?
So we've got 21 franchises across the country, and we hope to have sort of probably about 24, 25 by the end of the year. We're sort of gradually taking people on every year because we give unlimited support. So we know that we can't take on, you know, 10 at a time every month. That's just not feasible, and it wouldn't be fair on the new or the existing franchisees. So we make sure that when we bring people on, we've got enough time to be able to give them that support and the time that they need.
Brilliant. So you've grown quite steadily since you brought Andrea on, grown quite steadily along.
Yes, yeah. And we deliberately took our time, particularly in that first sort of 18 months, because we took Andrea on as a pilot franchisee, so that we knew we wanted to make sure that what we were offering was right. And we've tweaked things since then. We've changed the training. We've got really a lot smarter about what we do. And Andrew's been great because, you know, she came on as a pilot, knew she was, and she's been able to feed back and help us in that journey. And now we know, you know, we've got a fantastic model. We know where training works. We bring in sort of external experts as well. And everything, you know, works really smoothly. And it's, you know, it's really exciting for us because we're getting interest from all over the country, from people who want to do what we're doing and who don't want to go back to corporate world. You know, typically our franchisee is someone who's had a corporate career, has got the children, and doesn't want to go back to that corporate life. And we're offering something that's, you know, interesting, the opportunity to work for themselves and to manage their own time.
Brilliant. So I hear as well that you've been nominated, won awards for various things, franchisee awards and all that.
Yes, yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate. You know, over the past few years, we've won quite a lot of awards. Most recently, we won an award for being the most supportive franchisors, which was really, really important to us because our support is something that we think is probably one of our USPs. Most franchises, you have a capped amount of support that you're able, you know, whether it's 4 hours a month or whatever it is. And we have unlimited support. We use technology really well. So we use things like Zoom. We do regular mentoring sessions, video Zooms, so that on training things if people want to know more detail. But we are always there for the franchisees to help them when they've got a particular customer that they don't know how, you know, what they should be doing or whatever it is. And so we, you know, that's something we're really proud of. So to win an award for that was really good. Also won awards for our flexible offering as well, the fact that it is a very flexible opportunity. And again, that's something that we're really proud of. So yeah, it's always lovely to get recognised in the industry, and it's always a complete surprise. So we're always sitting there going, it's not going to be us, it's not going to be us. And then when it is, it's obviously fantastic. So yes, hopefully we'll get a few more.
Oh, fabulous. It just sounds like such an exciting journey that you're on, that you and Caroline are just so passionate about what you're doing, and you're taking your time to do it in the right way and looking after the people that you work with.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So what's the plans for the future then? What do you see the future?
To carry on. You know, there's a lot of the UK we're still not in, so we want to keep on growing that. We want to sort of grow steadily and bring on new people all the time, and you know, to strengthen the Pink Spaghetti brand across the country. We're always looking at bringing on new services for the franchisees to offer. So as well as bringing on new people, it's looking after the existing ones as well, to develop the range of opportunities for them. And developing them and helping them with growing their business, and that you know, that really is our aim over the next few years.
Cool. So you've obviously described some of the rewards. The business is thriving. It's all very, very exciting. The kids are happy because they've got kind of mum doing pickups and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know whether they're happy about that, but when and I pick them up.
Stop hanging around the school gates, Mum. There's obviously, you must see the benefits in your kids and stuff. What's the hardest thing, would you say, in terms of having your own business and bringing the kids up at the same time? And all that?
It's actually, because we're not going to a physical, although we have got an office, I largely work from home, and therefore you're always at work in a sense. So it is that switching off, and it is learning to be, when you're with the kids, to try to say, yeah, I'm with the kids, I'm not just going to check my emails quickly or respond to that. And as tempting as it is to try not to do it, because technology means that you can be accessible and you can be out with the kids at the same time as sort of multitasking and picking things up. But then there are times when really you should be just with them, and so it's trying to sort of segment, your home life and your work life. And I'm probably not very good at that, but I do try. And I get told off constantly, you're always on your phone, and I'm like, well, I'm working, and it's it is really difficult, but it's worth it, because actually, yes, I still can. It means I can be around, and I can stay in summer holidays. We can go and have a day out, but I'm still in touch with what's going on. I keep up to date with things.
Yeah, my little girl actually put a sign on the playroom door saying "No phones allowed."
Yeah.
But no, that's brilliant. There's one last question I've got to ask you. How did it get called Pink Spaghetti?
Question we get asked a lot, actually, and it's been one of our best decisions because people remember it. So when Caroline and I were setting up the business, we were trying to think of a name, and we didn't want anything that was sort of dull and boring, like Cheshire PA Services or something like that. So we said, well, okay, how do we know each other? And we've met through our oldest children. So Holly and Charlotte were great friends, and they loved spaghetti, and spaghetti is a tangled mess which we're trying to sort out for people. So we thought it was the perfect choice, but we also thought it sounded like we were selling Italian food, which clearly we're not. So we thought, well, a lot of big brands put a colour in their name, and obviously being girls, pink was the obvious choice. And so Pink Spaghetti was born, and everyone remembers it because it does stand out. It's a bit different, and it has really been a great asset to us.
Lovely. Obviously, I'll put the details of Pink Spaghetti on the video. But how should people contact you if they're interested in it or interested in having the services? How should they contact you?
You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter. Just search Pink Spaghetti and we'll come up. If you go to our website, www.pink-spaghetti.co.uk, or drop us an email at enquiries@pink-spaghetti.co.uk, and one of us will get back in touch. But we'd love to hear from anybody if they'd like to use our services, or maybe if they're interested in being a franchisee.
Brilliant. Thanks, Vicky. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.